The Bible never introduces the number 666 as a warning. It introduces it as a test of wisdom. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. Revelation chapter 13, verse 18. Most people search for the number in the future to understand the theology of the last days, but Scripture directs us to discern it through what has already been revealed in the past. There is a biblical hermeneutic often observed in Scripture known as the law of first mention. It holds that when a word, symbol, or number first appears in the biblical record, it establishes a pattern of meaning, one that later passages do not invent, but echo. The Bible assumes memory. It expects discernment. It trusts the reader to recognize when something returns, and so, before the number ever appears in prophecy, before it is spoken of in visions or warnings, it appears quietly, historically, during Israel's golden age. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents. 1 Kings, chapter 10, verse 14. This is the first mention. No explanation is given. No judgment is pronounced. The number simply enters the biblical record, attached not to a tyrant, but to a king, blessed by God. Solomon, son of David, builder of the temple, a ruler whose wisdom drew the nations of the world toward Jerusalem. They came willingly, not as captives but as admirers, bearing tribute, bearing gold. And the weight of that gold, measured carefully, recorded deliberately, was 666 talents. According to the law of first mention, this moment matters, because Scripture introduces 666 not in chaos, but in order, not in rebellion, but in prosperity, not in darkness, but at the height of human wisdom and global admiration. This is the moment the pattern is set. What follows is not immediate judgment, but gradual change. Wealth increases, power concentrates. The king's reach expands beyond the boundaries God once established. Horses multiply, gold overflows, foreign alliances grow closer. The kingdom still looks righteous, the temple still stands, the nations still come. But something subtle has shifted. The system is now sustained by tribute, by scale, by centralized authority. And Solomon's heart, once anchored in God, begins to drift. The first mention does not accuse. It warns in seed form. Centuries later, the number appears again, this time at the end of history. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast. John does not explain the number. He assumes it has already been explained. To calculate is not to invent meaning, but to trace it back to its first appearance, back to its original context, back to a kingdom that looked like God's, yet slowly replaced reliance on him. Biblical prophecy speaks of a final age when the nations will once again converge, when authority will be centralized, when peace will be promised through structure, unity, and control. Scripture warns that this system will not arise in obvious defiance of God at first, but as an imitation, a throne, a temple, a focal point for the world. Once again, the nations will bring tribute. Once again, global order will flow toward a single ruler. Once again, Jerusalem will stand at the center of history's attention, and standing there will not be a son of David, but a counterfeit king, the final Antichrist, the fulfillment of the 666 prophecy. Let him who has ears hear.